Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be analyzing a gold tier player's gameplay. Now, in the previous videos of me analyzing gameplay, I've always analyzed people's gameplay based off of skill, right? So you'll notice the certain things that people do right most of the times, but you won't notice the things that they do wrong most of the times because they're not really doing that much wrong. So this gameplay, I was asking you guys that if you are around the gold 1 tier rank, or the gold rank in general, to send me your gameplay so that I can review it. So this is one of the gameplays that I got through my email. So I appreciate the guy who sent me this gameplay. I'll be reviewing it to the best of my ability for you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So with the team that he's starting off here, you can kind of tell already that he's gonna switch to the 4-2-3-1 because it would be very odd if he were to keep Firmino on the pitch. Now, there's two situations that you can see, and this is just a way or a mentality for you guys to have if you go and play the game, right? So with the way that this team is set up right now, he can either set up with a 4-1-2-2 or a 4-2-3-1. My bet is that he's going to start off with a 4-2-3-1. But with the 4-1-2-2, he can probably use Conte as a CDM, Petit as a left center mid, Roberto Firmino as a right center mid. Reason being is because Petit and Roberto Firmino are both high work rates, so it creates this decent balance between the two so that they can actually play really well against each other, or well with each other, excuse me. And then Martial or Mbappe would be the left or right attacking mid, Willian, and so on and so forth, right? But the 4-1-2-2, the cam, I would say that the cam would probably be Willian, and then the strikers would probably be Martial and Mbappe. So we're going to get into the game right away. Your bench is looking pretty decent as well. So we're going to see what's going on here. I'm going to go ahead and put this up over here so I can have some gameplay volume to work with over here. You have Goretzka as a red card as well. Okay. So let's skip this a little bit. Let's see the other team that this guy is facing off against. So right off the bat, he's facing off against a 4-1-2-2. The balance of the team is pretty decent. He's got a decent back four. Now, Young doesn't really have a left foot, so his outside the foot passes are going to be very inconsistent. Azpilicueta isn't necessarily ideal to have in Futchamps considering the team that you have, even though Mbappe and Martial aren't crazy good against Azpilicueta. They're not like Ronaldo-esque levels, but still decent enough. This guy's using Rui Koch as a center mid, which is decent, but no defensive stats whatsoever on him. Del Piero, decent cam to use. Striker Shevchenko, I'm not a fan of him at all in this game, but some people can do work with him. And Crespo's definitely someone you should be looking out for sure, because he's definitely going to do work on the team, absolutely. So let's see what we got here. He has Begovic as a goalie too, so that's ideal to do if you want a cheap team, right? So if you're... Because this team, I think he spent most of his money getting the prime cards. So this team is the type of team where it requires a certain type of FIFA player to use this type of team, because there's a lot of misbalances everywhere. Again, Young with the weak foot. Azpilicueta isn't as good as someone like Eric Bailly or anybody else for that matter, because Azpilicueta is a good center back, but he's not on the level of Bailly. Begovic is not on the level of De Gea. Conte is a decent CDM, but he's lacking in the height, and the height is very important. If it was his team of the year, then his height wouldn't matter because the cards got tier anyways. Moy, I think he has that 4-star weak foot, but he would probably be the only balanced midfielder there. Rui Costa would give him an attacking presence, but not really so much of a defensive presence. He would win the ball sometimes in the air from his physical presence. He has decent height. I'm not sure what Rui Costa's jumping is, though. So I'm not sure there. Del Piero is a very good cam, so you have to be careful of his finesse shots outside the box, his long shots in general, because I believe he does have a 5-star weak foot as well. So you definitely have to be careful there. Shevchenko, like, depending on the guy, I don't think he's going to do much with Shevchenko, but Crespo, I think, is going to do a little bit of work, because Crespo will work out really nicely in a 4-1-2-2 because of the passing, right? Because his passing stats aren't the greatest, playing him in a 4-1-2-2 will help with the lack of passing, because his other stats are very good in this game. So we'll see how you set up in the game. I'm going to go ahead and get some audio for me here, because if it's too quiet the entire time, your boy's going to go crazy. You have no audio. Okay. Rip. Let's see what he switches to. So he does end up switching to a 4-1-2-2, and as you can tell, as I said before, he does actually end up using Conte, Petit, Roberto Firmino, Willian, Mbappe, Martial. Very typical way to start off the team for sure. So let's see. Let's see what instructions he put on your striker. So get him behind, press the back line. Get him behind and press the back line for the other striker. Cam is on stay forward. So you have your tactics on pro players. So again, if that doesn't match your gameplay, you shouldn't be using that, man, because that's a pretty default instruction things that people pretty much give on all their players. But sometimes it doesn't really fit your playstyle. Like, dude, sometimes I like having my strikers to be unbalanced. Like, it's very down to how the game is being played out. Like, if I notice my two strikers are too far away from me, it's actually better to keep them unbalanced and, you know, depending on the situation, sometimes getting behind. But I like keeping them unbalanced to see how the opponent plays. Yeah, so the way he's setting up is very typical. He has his cam to get inside the box, which that's the only thing that's a little bit off. But he has his cam to stay forward, strikers to get him behind, press the back line, and then he has his fullbacks to stay back while attacking, and he also has his CDM to stay back while attacking. The other guy's also set up with a 4-1-2-2. So in terms of so far how this is looking, both of you guys are playing narrow-based formations. So you're not going to have much width, especially you, since you told your fullbacks to stay back while attacking. So you need to see if he actually ends up using his fullbacks on the attack. Oh, this does actually work, but my speakers aren't working for some reason. Awesome. Now I actually have volume. Right off the bat, you pass it off to the side. That's very good. Wouldn't push your center back too far up. Building up the play, which is good. Ball roll. You already have like the simple mechanics down for sure. The ball roll, touch, and stuff. So because this guy has a narrow base formation, it would be more ideal for you to focus out on the sides. Because if you focus out on the sides, it will definitely be more ideal for you. So doing a drag back there. Right off the bat, you can already notice the getting behind and press the back line with your players. You switch to the right players here. Oh, so over here, you want to keep this guy over here in the middle, and you want to control your fullback to block that area right there, because you can see that his player over here is making that run. So because this player, since your Roberto Firmino is already the right center mid, you should be switching to your fullback to block that run, because he probably has getting behind on his strikers as well. So if he does have that, your fullbacks are usually going to be out of position, and he's going to get that easy wide pass behind your defense, which he does end up doing. So in this situation right here, I think you're going to get this ball here. You would just hold Alt trigger and you would receive the ball. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Well, actually, no. This is okay because you're doing it in the middle with tall people. Very inconsistent, though. I would probably pass it off to the sides there. Switch the play. So you notice how, this is what I was saying with the instructions. So you'll notice how his players are all running away from him, right? So his only support that he has here is basically doing a drag back here and passing it off to the side here, and then working with the space over here, or passing it off to this guy over here and then passing in the middle and then working with that space again over here. So this is the thing about the getting behind and press the back line. Your players do that often, and since defensive AI is really overpowered, it's very situational as to whether or not you actually want to do that. See, that's what he ends up doing. So he does a drag back and then he plays it off in the middle, and now he has this space to work with, right? You're defending decently here. You got unlucky. That lunge mechanic is never the person's fault, because that's completely down to the game doing that for him. At this point, you should have switched to one of your players at the back here. So you have Petit, you're bringing him back, that's fine. Conte, you can't aggressively push. Conte needs to stay in the middle, which is good. That's exactly what you did. This, you actually defend really well here, right? The thing is that your Conte did the lunge mechanic, and that's what screws you here, because now this is why the lunge mechanic is a really, really bad mechanic, right? Because the lunge mechanic puts your players out of position. He was doing fine as he was running with Conte, but because his Conte did that lunge mechanic, now he's a little bit in more trouble. But at this point right here, you should be switching to this guy right here or to Petite, because you want to be able to block this side here, right? Because if you switch to this guy and you occupy the place in the middle as well as the side over here, you'll be able to watch this guy making the run and this guy making the run. So you should have switched at that point. But you do end up getting the ball, so that's good. Pass it back. There we go. Switch the play. You should switch the play more, man. Switching the play would be more beneficial. Passing it back into the middle. Yep. Yep. Really good. Driven pass. Too many skills. Yeah, that's way too many skills. Because once your Willian is... Actually, no, you did a pretty decent job. You could have gone near post too, or you could have laid off the pass over here as well. You have a lot of options here, because once you do the driven... not the driven shot, excuse me. You do the heel to heel. Once you do the heel to heel, you're already in the position. Right there, you should be shooting it. Once you do that heel to heel, that's a shot right away. You have to shoot this ball. You doing the ball roll... Look at this position you're in right now. You can honestly finesse this to the right side or try to do a near post shot right here. Did a little bit too much extra stuff there. So that's already like a goal that should have been going into the back of the net for sure. When you play FIFA and it's like competitive FIFA, you realize that these are the types of things you see that have to be goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the game screws you over because the finishing is very inconsistent. You can do a lot of power in your shot and the game will decide to do a low shot. It's very inconsistent, so sometimes it's hard to put blame on a person. But in that situation, once you did that heel to heel, which was great, you did the scoop turn, which got you into that position, and then you accelerated with the heel to heel to get into a better position. Call someone short so you can bring this guy with you. You got really fortunate there, because those are just completely luck based. I'm not even sure who scored. Was it Blanc? So Blanc can hit a volley with his left foot. Gotcha. Yeah, those are just like lucky FIFA goals. But the way that I see it is that like that's a lucky goal, but the goal that you should have scored is basically that goal. So you're in a good situation right now. Okay, good. So you're blocking off the sides. Always remember that on kickoff you have to block the sides because the fullbacks push up quite a bit, and then you're pushing him off to the side. And now that he's in the middle, you're putting your striker back in the middle. That's good. Switch to Willian now. Leaving too much space in the middle. The middle, you have to be careful because this area right here. So you'll notice how the kickoff works, right? So watch that part right there. You see this? This is the area right here that's exploited. So if you dribble a little bit here, there's the exploit. You see how these players are pushed up over here? That's the exploit of the kickoff now. So that's how he has that easy pass right there. Good defending there. Driven pass, Y pass. Y pass to the top. There you go. Another Y pass. Your player's making that run. He wasted opportunities there. You didn't have to go back for that one. You had a lot of... He didn't have money defenders, so you could have had a good attacking opportunity there. You're using your fullback here, so you got to be careful because your instructions are on stay back while attacking for your fullback, so this might not be necessarily ideal for you to push up too much with him. Because now he has that space to work with. But your player gets back into position, so that's good. Your center back needs to go back. There you go. You have to push someone up to the upward side here. So that area, so when you're defending, you have to be really careful, right? Because when someone's attacking your middle, like let's just say they're around this area right here. The areas that tend to be opened up a little bit more when you're second man pressing and controlling one player to defend is the side. So you'll notice that when he's on the bottom side, your top side starts to open up. You'll notice it right about here. Right about this general area, that's where it starts. Because when someone's building up the play here, that's where it starts to open up. So you have to be very careful with those ones. Nice little pass right there. There we go. Pass downwards, nice. No, you wasted too much time there. Worked out really nicely, though. This was actually a really good play, by the ways. You get unfortunate, too, because you were shooting with the pressure on the player. And this is where I think stuff like composure and physical strength comes in. Because Willian is not a physical player, he doesn't win this physical player over Rikasha. Because Willian's in front of him. If this is someone like Ronaldo, then he would probably be scoring this opportunity. But this situation here, you should be pushing Roberto Firmino back. Always push him back. You'll be able to get that. Push it backwards. Nope. You're rushing it forward. You can't rush it forward in those situations. It's easier for the attacker to get the ball when you rush it forward there. Game's lagging a little bit. Oof, what is this lag? Skip that a little bit. Okay, so right here, right? Because you're playing a 4-1-2-2, you want your CDM to play in the middle here. So he is in the middle already, but once you realize that your Roberto Firmino and your Petit are playing like left center mids and right center mids, you got to push Conte a little bit back. So you got to switch to him right now, and you got to push him in this general area right here. Because now he has the sides to work with. So if he does a pass right here and he does a Y pass to his fullback, you can also see that his fullback's actually making runs. So he has his fullback on either always overlap or unbalanced. Fullbacks don't tend to do that when you don't have those instructions. Pass it right away. Go upwards. Try to do a skill move here. Because if you do a skill move, you have more balance on the ball. Because Martial, I don't know if you... Like right here, what I would have done, just to have more space to work with here, or see what the opponent wanted to do. So you receive the ball here with Petit to Martial. You could do a fake shot right here. Because what a fake shot will do is that it'll fake shot stop in the direction of the net. And then that way you'll be able to be in a better position to make the pass off to someone like Petit, or to make his player stop and then run back into that position again, because then you'll have Petit in the opening. Now you have to go back here, pass it back. That's rushing it forward. You don't want to rush it forward too much. One-two pass. Again. Oh, I have to do it right away, man. Because when you do that 1-2 pass, you'll see that your player actually makes that that acceleration run. Like his acceleration gets higher, right? You'll see right here. So once you do that, when you do a 1-2, if you were holding LB, right? You'll notice the acceleration already instantly of the player. So if you did a first time pass to Martial, he would have been through on goal here. Okay, so right now you have to hold that general area. That's good. Don't push your fullback out too much. You pushed him a little bit too far out there. So right here, you want to be able to occupy that spot. Like that's too much space to work with, because the players will always make that run in behind, right? Lay it off to your fullback there. If so over here, right? Um, your fullback's on stay back while attacking, but if you lay it off here and then you control the ball downwards and lay it off to your fullback, your Martial can make this run in behind all this space right here. So right here, if you dribble downwards, pass it off to your fullback, that's right here. You can do an RBY pass, and then he'll be through on goal. Because again, that's the thing about the 4-1-2-2. When someone uses it, you have so much space to work with on the sides, right? Could have tried a 1-2 play here as well. So right here, 1-2 with Petit and Martial here. Bringing Willian back in play. You're bringing Conte back in play. Don't push. See, that's the thing right there with Conte. You don't want to push him all the way down. You can't be too aggressive because always understand, man, you always got to keep the right players in the right positions. That's the most important thing. So because you push Conte downwards here, now you don't have a CDM to work with because at this point, you have to push Conte all the way back, which you end up doing, which is great. But then you lose time in being able to set your right center mid and your left center mid back quicker. Lay it off. Yeah, now you got a Y pass there. That counterattack is going to work against this guy because this guy actually has. You'll notice his fullbacks actually make those runs, so they're on balanced or stay back or balanced or always overlap. So it kind of gives you that chance to exploit his defense a little bit more on the counterattack. At this situation here, you should switch the play because you'll see that the guy is heavily congesting you to the left side. So you see he's pushing everyone to the left. So at this point, you should do a fake shot, which will again. I think you could do a fake shot in this game where it's either if you hold LB or RB and you hold the left stick down, you can actually fake shot downwards on the spot and stop, and in that way you could already be in the angle to be able to cross across the field. It just opens up the play a little bit more because if you switch the play, his players now have to rotate to the left, but you'll have more space to work with. Because right now you're playing really through the middle right now, but when you're playing against a narrow formation, you also have a narrow formation, you need to be focused on pushing out to the sides to really exploit someone's defense. It's the best way to go about things. It's risky, but even though your fullbacks are on stay back while attacking, you can do really easy layoff passes. So not a bad half so far. I think it's just your attacking decisions that let you down a little bit. Because the goal that you scored was very lucky. It's like a FIFA mechanic kind of way of scoring, right? But the way that you should have scored that one opportunity where you actually did really well, two opportunities actually. No, it was just one opportunity. With the when you did the heel to heel, you were already in a good position. You should have just shot it right away. Let me see if you're going to switch anybody off. So you're going to keep everybody. People aren't really playing that badly in your team, so to take off Martial wouldn't really make much sense because your strikers aren't doing that poorly. Because now you're going to be putting on a player that has less of a physical presence as a striker, which isn't ideal. If you were going to switch on Alessandrini, I would recommend putting him as a cam. Because Martial wasn't even doing that bad of a job there. In terms of the runs and stuff that he was making. Right off the bat, you got to control the players on the sides so that he doesn't exploit the sides, because you'll notice your fullbacks are pushing out, watch. So when the striker makes a run, they always have that space. That was just a bad pass by Alessandrini. That wasn't really your fault. See how he does the fake shot? Because then look at him doing the fake shot. When he does the fake shot, he stops in the direction of your net, right? Because he's the opposition, right? So when he fake shots, you keep going, but now he has space to work with over here and at the back over here. He should be pushing this ball forward here so that the midfield can go support him afterwards, but he chooses to go backwards here, or he actually switches the play. Remember that because his Ashley Young is not left-footed, he's going to be more prone to cutting inside with him because he's right-footed. Over there, you actually defended perfectly. It's whether or not the shot unfortunately goes through your legs. You should be defending the near post better here in that situation because your player is behind, but you need to be on this part of the circle right here in front of Del Piero. Switch the play here. See, over here, you should switch the play. Now you should switch the play. Yeah, you gotta use the sides more, man. Like you gotta rotate. It's good to rotate because it keeps the composure calm. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense, because you can just like refresh instead of like always absorbing that pressure. You can release that pressure. Pass it back in the middle, off to Conte. Use your sides. There you go. You should actually make a run here with Alexandro to put extra pressure on the guy. There you go, and I got a Y pass. Beautiful, see? That should be a goal, yeah. You could say that you got lucky in this situation too, but the shot from this position right here should be going to the back of the net. The only reason why it's blocked is because his AI blocks it for him. So I definitely give you credit for the goal here. But you notice, right, that your fullbacks exploiting the sides is what helped you score this goal here. See? You have that side to exploit now. You do a driven pass here, which I think you meant to do to this guy right here. I'm pretty sure you didn't mean to do it to Willian, but it ends up working that way anyways, because you can actually tell that he tries to pass it to the other striker, because look at the instant switch from the game. So you did kind of get lucky here, because I think you kind of meant to go for not Martial but Mbappe here. So when you do this, you'll notice that it switches to his Mbappe, but then it instantly goes off and goes to his Willian right there. So you see that right there, his red dot went right on top, and then it switched to his Willian. You take the shot with your Willian, Conte ends up blocking the ball. His AI did that, so I give you credit for scoring the goal afterwards. But notice, like I said, man, you use the sides and you exploited it. When someone's using a 4-1-2-2, it's easier for you to use the sides against them. Because your fullback is on stay back while attacking, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's never going to attack, because he will attack sometimes, right? But the thing is that, again, when someone's using a really narrow base formation, what their team tends to do is they tend to bunch up in the middle, so it gives you that extra opportunity to pass it off to the sides to make a better attacking play for yourself. At this point, since your Mbappe is in a good position, you should switch to either Willian. You should switch to Willian, actually, because your left striker is in a good position. So switch to Willian and block that middle area right here. Because you see how you took Alessandrini out of position? This situation here, when you took Alessandrini out of position, you gave him that space to work with. See how you pushed up? Now you have that space to work with. If you had Willian and you were blocking this middle area right here, you would have more to work with. Now, again, I want you guys to notice, right? Look at how much space this guy has on the sides here. He has so much because you're both using a 4-1-2-1-2. And from kickoff, players are really stupid. So that's the space that he's going to work with there. If you block that area with the cam with Willian, and then you block the area over here with Alessandrini, you'll have more of a closer presence to be able to defend better, right? He would have still gotten this ball off to the sides, but your Alessandrini would have been in a better position, and your Willian wouldn't be so close to your striker. Aggressively pushing up there was actually a good idea, because now you occupy that space. So this is down to kickoff. So you have to understand, and I tell this to people all the time, always watch the middle, man. So you're controlling this guy, which is okay, but you should be controlling Petite right now. You see how you're controlling this guy right here? This is the area right here that people exploit from kickoff because it's really effective here. You get unfortunate in two certain circumstances here. When he does the first time pass here, your Petite doesn't get the ball, which is unfortunate. It is what it is, right? But then his Del Piero takes a shot on the spot due to good shooting stats in general, because his composure is good, his finishing is good. He just takes a shot, no momentum, just takes a shot right on the spot, right through your player's leg. So the lunge mechanic kind of screwed you over, but you should have been blocking this general area right here to defend against it a little bit better. And I think if that's De Gea, there's actually a chance that he might save that, because Begovic doesn't have good goalkeeping stats, so his De Gea might have had like better positioning and stuff, because that shot wasn't even that great. So what you could do at this point too, if you really want to, is that you can pretend like you're going to waste time, because what that actually does is that it makes your opponent feel like, oh, I'm in his head now, so I can attack him aggressively. But that actually makes it easier for you to attack against him. Pass it back here. Yeah. So block. So use your midfielders more when you're attacking. Don't use so much your attackers. That was, you know, a stupid mechanic too, but you could be passing it to your CDM right there as well. He's going to lay it off there. You should have switched earlier. You were on Petit for too long. So right here, you should be switching to Conte, right? And then from Conte, you should be switching to your center back when you see this guy making the run. See, because if you switch to Conte, you would have had an easier switch to your center back. Your center back would have occupied that space easier. And it's Laurent Blanc. Laurent Blanc would have 100% gotten that ball. But because he has to accelerate, because you choose him late, it's easier for the guy to break through on goal here. You defend well here. So over here, you have to just block that general area. Don't slide tackle. Never slide tackle in this situation. Never. Don't overcommit, because then you're going to give him that space to work with. So you do well and you just block that area where he can do a driven shot. You could still play normally here. You have to play with no pressure. Once you start feeling the pressure, that's when it's going to get to you. Just keep playing normally like you normally were. You only did concede a kickoff, in all fairness, so you were playing fine. Your instructions right now of getting behind and press the back line is actually working okay against this guy, because this guy doesn't do well under a lot of pressure from attackers. First time pass there. Penalty. Good dribble, man. Time was good there. Let's see how you take the penalty here. So you take a placement shot, which is interesting. Your placement shot you took to the bottom right. It's actually better if you aim it right here. So I'll show you guys the best way to take penalties. So this depends on the person, obviously, but there's like a hot spot in penalties this year, right? So the hot spot is either right here, or right here. You don't want to do it too close to the middle, because then they save it, right? But if you do it right here or right here, if their goalie dives normally with their right stick facing completely to the right or completely to the left, they don't actually save the goal, because they do this animation where their arms go higher and it goes under their arms. So I would definitely use those penalties more often and practice on those, because those are more consistent. Because if he dives normally in this situation right here, he could get the ball. He just guesses wrong here. Switch it back here. So this guy's gameplay level, guys, is a gold 2. And to be fair, he doesn't really play that badly. The problem that you have, dude, is that you stay on players for too long, right? And even in this situation right here, you can totally see it as well. So you're doing well by defending against the sides. Once you have Mbappe in this situation, you should either be switching to Roberto Firmino to block this area, control a little bit more, because Willian's already in the cam position. You shouldn't be using Mbappe for too long here. Now you should switch to Willian, because Mbappe is already your right striker, right? Here's where you stick with a player for too long. So you're using Alexandro, you should already get off Alexandro, you should be switching to someone like Petit, right? Or the guy over here on the left side. You see how you stuck with Alexandro? That was a big problem for you right away. You should be switching to someone else already. He gets really fortunate with the deflection, but again, man, you have to watch the middle. It's always that semicircle area right here that people exploit. Some people don't even actually mean to do it. It's just a thing in FIFA where the kickoff, you can easily exploit that general area. His fullbacks are definitely on always overlap or on balance for sure. Play it off to the middle. Keep calm, don't push it forward. Switch to Willian right here. Your Conte's in a good position. Switch to Willian to give you that extra defensive support because Willian's actually fast. Switch to your fullback now. When you're done switching from your fullback, use your center back because your Conte's already in a good position. He gets unlucky with the lunge mechanic. I hate that mechanic so much. It's so stupid. Literally, it's the worst thing in the world. So doing a fake shot to keep the ball in isn't the best idea. Spamming A in this situation would have been more ideal. So if you spam A to the ball downward, if you spam the ball downwards, or if you you could have done if you did a fake shot backwards, if you did a fake shot upwards, you would have had more of a chance of saving the ball. Because there's like this little animation delay where he has to do this one step and then keep the ball in play, right? So you're putting Kaká as a striker, so that's already a big no-no. Kaká needs to be your cam, and Lozano needs to be your striker. Just more ideal that way. Although you will have a decent physical presence up top with Kaká there. There, you switched at a good time there to block that middle area. Y pass easily. Run it. You did 2 ball rolls. You should have just done 1 here. 2 ball rolls is very inconsistent with the way that they finish. So if you push the ball here, you do the ball roll, you do 1 ball roll touch. Don't do 2 ball rolls, ball roll touch. So you do ball roll touch and then shoot it. That's just getting fortunate. Switch to your fullback at this point because you don't want to push your midfielder out to the sides. Because when you push your midfielder out to the sides, remember, semicircle area is where people exploit. Pass it downwards. Pass it in the middle. 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 Downwards. Upwards. Middle. That was a good hold-up, actually. Kaká's physical presence definitely helped out a little bit there. And that should be a penalty, but it's not. Typical FIFA. Let's see right here. So in this situation right here, if you were just a little bit more calm, what you want to do here is you want to slightly touch the ball upwards. Slightly. Just touch the ball slightly upwards, and then just do a finesse shot around the goalkeeper. That is 100% a penalty. Yep, no doubt in my mind. Typical EA. Block that area right there. Yeah. Switch to your center back. Don't slide tackle, man. He actually took a pretty decent shot at this striker right here. So what you want to do here, right, is if you think someone's going to shoot in that situation, I think the mechanic is, I don't know what I do because it's like second nature at this point. It's either you multiple tap right stick or you hold the right stick to push your goalkeeper more to the middle if you think someone's going to do a driven shot against you across the goal. You had like 2 attacking opportunities that should have been for sure goals. So you just have to be more composed in front of the net, you know? That's pretty much it. Yeah, dude, your gameplay is okay, right? It's just your attacking decisions are a little bit too rash and quick. You have to be a little bit more calm when you're attacking, right? You should switch the play more in your defensive side so that you can relieve the pressure and build up the attacking play on the sides again. Because people, when they have to switch from one side to the other, it takes time for them to do that. Because it takes time for them to do that, you can have more space to work with on the sides for yourself, right? So I'll definitely look into doing that as well. Your strikers getting in behind and pressing the back line was okay to do, but it looked like it would have been best if you just tell him to get in behind, because this guy's defensive line was really high up. If you just told him to get in behind and not press the back line, they would have just, you know, made those really darting runs in behind goal, right? So it's more just about composure and not sticking to one player for so long in the defensive front. But that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did enjoy this video, please drop a thumbs up on it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.